welcome to another Creative Confidence livecast. Today it's episode 4 and we are talking about Mojo. I'm here today with Katie Teasdale Ward from Kudosity as usual. Hi Katie, how are you?
Hi Ange, all good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Yes, bit of sunshine today, nice to see.
Lovely.
So Mojo, I think we probably all know what Mojo means, but maybe you just want to expand on it a little bit.
Yeah, Mojo. I mean, it's another word really for motivation and for when you feel that you have got get up and go, or basically when you don't. So it's about those days that you feel probably more socially distanced to your mojo more than anything else. And it can happen to anyone at any time. But I thought the reason that it would be good to talk about it now is because I think there is a general feeling now, even more so as we go into sort of autumn, winter, the clocks are doing their thing this weekend, and there is all this talk of a second lockdown, etc. It feels like everyone is feeling like they are really beyond the stretch now, that they've tried to keep going, that they've tried to keep a positive outlook, and they've tried all of these bits and bobs, but actually they're starting to feel a bit worn out, a bit tired by it all. And I know that I'm certainly feeling it, and I can't be on my own with that. So, but we all still have to, we still are all creators. We still all want to be doing stuff that we love. But it's hard when you feel like you don't really either want to get up or go out, and certainly you don't want to pick up a camera. It's hard to think of creative ideas when you're feeling as flat as a pancake, basically. So I thought, how can we talk about, or what should we talk about in terms of Mojo, and how to really give everyone some techniques that they can take away from today and apply those for when there are days that they feel a bit low and a bit like, where did my creativity go? I thought I was a good photographer, but now actually I don't really want to do any of it anymore. So I think the point with Mojo is, it's like you can't always be motivated all the time. It's impossible. So you need to learn how to be disciplined, I think. And discipline is kind of one of those words where you go, oh, I don't want to be told to be disciplined. Not at school anymore. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you how to behave, but I'm trying to give you some tools to help bring you back up, so that will help generate that momentum for motivation, which is often all that it is. It's not that you can't shoot anymore. It's not that you don't have creative ideas anymore. It's not that you can't do any of that. It's just you need a bit of a kickstart to help you on your way.
That's really good. Now, I was thinking about motivation, and often when I thought about it, I come down to thinking about things like exercise and specifically running. And I realized that actually some of what I've learned about motivating myself to run does translate in a way to photography. So for example, they say with running, get up in the morning and put your running gear on straight away, or have your running shoes by the back door so you're ready to go out, and you don't think, oh, I'm going to run 10 miles or I'm going to run 5 miles. I'm just going to pop out. I'll go out for a bit, I'll do a mile. And then once you're out there, you find yourself thinking, oh, well, I may as well just keep going, or I'll go around the block, or I'll do this or do that. And before you know it, you've done, a mile or 3 miles or 5 miles, depending where you're at. And you come back and you feel really, really good, and you feel better for having done it.
Yeah.
But it's that you didn't sort of say, right, I'm going to get up, it's pouring with rain, I'll go out and run 5 miles. It was those sort of breaking it down. So I was thinking with photography, you can do it in a similar way, because I think, to sort of think, right, I'm going to take the best photograph I've ever taken and the most creative shot, and I'm going to win this competition or whatever. It's quite an intimidating step. But if you just do stuff like the preparation, so, you're not putting your running gear on, but what you do is you check your battery, you get your battery charged, you have dig out, make sure your card is, clear of images, you put it in the camera and you format it so it's ready to go. So you've got it there. And then, the strap's on, and maybe you put it by the back door so that when you do go out to walk the dog or you go to the shops, you've got your camera with you. Or when you've got that half hour, you think, well, what should I do? The camera's there. I'll just go and I'll take a photograph of something, anything.
Yeah. It is those visual triggers that I think are really important. And because they're not it is reframing your mindset to think exactly that. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to take a magnificent landscape photograph that's going to win me all these awards. It's do you know what? I can see the camera there. It's ready to go, and I'll take it with me. You know, I'll take it with me. Oh, actually, I've just seen something when I've been on my walk. It's taking those levels of pressure off, because the more you start to add, you know, it's like with anything, it's just extra layers of pressure. It's like building up a massive cake of despair. It's like, oh my God, you know, it becomes something, it goes from being something small and manageable to something massive and unattainable.
Yeah.
And everything that we've talked about over the last 3 or 4 sessions has been about scalability, really, and how you can adapt the techniques to something that works for you. Because I know people who work so much better when there is a definitive, or rather a definite deadline, and they're like, okay, I'm not motivated, but I know that I've got to do that task, and I'm just going to grind through it. Some people work like that, and that's perfect for them. But a lot of us, it kind of starts to seep in, and it seeps into all these different levels and different areas of our life. And before you know it, you kind of gone to an end of a week and you're feeling flat. You're feeling like you actually haven't achieved anything. And the reality actually is very different, because there are no 2 days the same. You have done different things, but the actual, how you frame that as achievement is very different to if you were feeling upbeat about it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a massive difference about how you feel about what that success and that motivation looks like, versus when you're feeling upbeat and you're feeling like it's doable, versus when things are feeling a bit harder. You know, we all have those days when it's hard to just be more optimistic than it is on other days, and especially with all the stuff that's going on. I mean, this is in we keep saying it, but it is the most unusual circumstances, so therefore people do need to keep topping themselves up. This isn't you just having a bad day in a, you know, when autumn's here and the nights are getting darker. This is you possibly having a bad day with all this other stuff going on, and you can't get out, and you can't do, and it builds up into something massive. So it's really identifying the things that are going to work for you. So for some, it's grind through it, and you've got it, and you're exhausted because you've got to the end of it, but you've done it. And for others, it's creating these little visual pebbles along the way that are going to help you. And when you look back, you can say, actually, yeah, I got through that week, and actually I've taken some pretty good pictures, and I've felt more creative because I took all the pressure off. And I remember why I started. I remember why I first wanted to get into photography. I remember why autumn was a season that I just couldn't wait to get out. You know, remember why you started, but also think about these little pebbles along the way.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Something that occurred to me is, if you don't take your camera out, sometimes, say, you know, a lot of people I know have got dogs, or you just go out for a regular bit of exercise, just for a walk, and for whatever reason you don't take your camera, and then you see, particularly this time of year, you know, you see a really nice patch of mushrooms or something like that, and you haven't got your camera, or the light comes out and it's beautiful, and you haven't got your camera, and then you kind of beat yourself up because, oh, I didn't have my camera, and you know, you get really cross with yourself. And then the next day it's a dull day, and it's, oh, I knew I should have taken that photo. And I think that kind of piles on to, like, it kind of squashes your mojo because you feel out of control. But if you take your camera with you every time, and that great light happens, then you can take a great photograph, or, you know, you see those mushrooms. So you're opening yourself up to the opportunity. But I think the other thing is to grasp the situations that you come across. So if it's raining, or if it's overcast and cloudy, then obviously you're not going to get, you know, sunbeams coming through trees or anything like that, but you do have a nice soft light that is great for macro photography or a little bit of still life or something like that. So, you know, accept the situations, but look for the opportunities within it. I think it's quite important.
Exactly. And it does kind of come back to that level of expectation as well.
Yeah.
There are sometimes when I've, you know, especially at this time of the year, because everything's just bonkersly beautiful, there is an extra thing of, oh, I must take that autumn photo that's going to go on the country file calendar, and it's going to, you know,
It'll be October.
Yes. Exactly. Rather than actually, I'm going to possibly think about going out for this walk, but I'm going to just take my phone with me, and I'm going to challenge myself to do something creative that way.
Yeah.
And then I could come back and see it with a completely different perspective. There are times when I think it's all right to just go, I'm having a really crappy day. Or, you know, I am feeling pretty crappy. I don't know if I'm going to be bleeped at any point for saying the S word. Oh, probably. But we all have them. Everyone has them. And recognizing that is fine, and having a good moan about it is fine for a short period of time. Just don't sit in it, don't dwell in it, don't bathe in it, because that's all you're going to be really attracting is, you know, the next thing that will happen will be crappy, because your headset is like, well, this is going to be crap, you know, the next photo I'm going to take is crap, my camera's crap, my print's crap, I've never been any good at photography, I don't know why I bothered, I'm just not going to bother. Ooh, it can quickly spiral. And when we've talked before about the community on SheClicks, I think that's where it's really important. I think we talked about it in the last episode when we were saying you can post a photo in there and say, ladies, I don't actually want any feedback about this, really. I just want to prove to myself that I can post this photo and I can kickstart myself back into that place of being a photographer again. Because people need to have a visual signpost that they can keep on doing this, that they are worth investing their time and moving their headspace into photography and into a creative space.
Yeah, I think a lot of people start photography or get into photography because they enjoy it, and anything that is enjoyable is a very good thing to have in your life. So I think it's important, if you're lacking motivation, it's probably a good idea to sort of sit down and just think about, what is it about photography that you enjoy? You know, why did you start it? What got you into it? What pulled you into it? What makes you normally want to take photographs? And you know, write a list down. I think it's very easy, and I see a lot of people talking about this, writing about this, saying that, you know, they know how to do one thing, but they don't know how to do another thing. They don't know how to do flash, and they don't feel like a real photographer. But actually, if you love natural light photography, or, you know, found still life or landscapes, then do that. Don't beat yourself up because you don't know how to use a flash gun, or you've never taken a portrait. You know, focus on the things that you enjoy. And if you want, you know, you can gradually expand that area. But the point is to enjoy what you're doing, because your enjoyment will improve your photography. It will improve your images. People can see, you know, your creative message within your image when you're enjoying yourself. Some people are very good at capturing their negative emotions as well and conveying those, but you know, and perhaps helping themselves to channel them and get rid of them. But basically, they do that, you know, to help themselves. And photography can be a positive driving force in your life. But think about why it is you want to do it and why you enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there's a really good point that you made about the bit that you love. So I feel, from personal experience, when I have felt that my mojo has gone on a bit of the skids, I can guarantee that the best way to make me feel worse is to do something that I know that I'm not very good at. So, oh, let's have a look at my spreadsheets. No, let's not, because that puts me in like a horrible, painful area, and it puts me in the whole like, well, I can't do spreadsheets, and now, you know, and it starts to do all of this.
Yeah.
And it's exactly right that you point out that the flip side of why people got into photography, everyone gets into photography because they love it. They love to be able to express themselves. They love to be able to experiment. It's art. It's a, you know, it's all of those things. It's not something where people get into and think, I'm going to earn X amount of money from this. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to have my name down in history. Pass me a camera. I'm sure it'll be easy. I'm sure I can nail it on the first go. Doesn't happen. So think about what it means to you emotional. I think emotional is, you know, you have to be emotional when it's photography, and it's also when it's motivation as well. So right at the get-go of this, I talked about how you can't always be motivated. So you need to be disciplined. And it is identifying those things that are going to keep you up when things are generally pulling you in a different direction.
Yeah.
But photography is all about love. It's all about passion. It's all about expressing yourself. And motivation will keep you doing that, but don't try and put yourself in a space where you're going to fail. You know, like you're saying about the flash, or suddenly wanting to try pet photography. If you've never had really an urge to do it before in the past, it's not going to benefit you. So look at the things that you love and keep doing more of them, because it is that momentum. The momentum will eventually be the dynamo to get you out of the mojo funk.
I think sometimes we look to external forces to motivate us and to give us our mojo. So, you know, that's why we, as photographers, we're quite enthusiastic about booking trips or, you know, going on workshops. They help you learn, but they take you to a different place, and that is inspirational. It does help sometimes, but on a day-to-day basis, you know, particularly at the moment, a lot of us are kind of trying to stay within a few miles of our homes, and that can feel a bit limiting. But I think if you think about some of the great projects that have been done, it's where people have focused on a particular area or a particular subject, and you just keep going around it and looking at it in a different way. For example, there's a tree in a woods not too far from our house that we can walk to. It's maybe a couple of miles. And I find it absolutely fascinating. And every time I go past it, I think just about every time I photograph it, sometimes in the same light, sometimes in different light, but there's always something different about that tree. And obviously it's growing every day as well. So it is actually changing. So I think even if you do the same dog walk every day, it is an interesting project to photograph it, either the whole thing or an aspect of it every day on a regular basis, because suddenly you look back and you think, you know, going from January the 1st to the 2nd to the 3rd wasn't very interesting. But when you look back across the year, you've got a really wonderful transition. And suddenly you've got a project which started out as just you popping out with the dog and grabbing a couple of shots.
Yes.
And that's a motivational thing that gives you a little pat on the back. You think, okay, so I've done that tree. Now I'm going to do this tree, or I'll vary my route or something like that.
Exactly. And it's a physical, tangible proof that you moved from one headspace to a different one. And I think that is really, really important, especially for the days when you think, I'm not achieving anything. I can't find the energy or the enthusiasm to take shots. What do I do? You know, how can I prove to myself that actually I have done that? I have moved from when it's been a bad time to a better time. And you know, you probably, well, maybe you don't. Do you remember the Green Goddess?
We got on YouTube.
Here's my unitard. We can't. You know, it's not about bouncing out of bed every morning with that, you know, ping, 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 and everything's firing off all cylinders. It is about, you know, sometimes there'll be days when everything kind of breaks, or you're covered in cereal, all of these things will fire at you at various degrees every day. But if you're able to just go, okay, I'm just going to park that bit, and I'm actually going to do something that I really like doing. And if it's with my camera, great. If it's with my phone, great. If it's photo editing, great. If it's printing, if it's going to a gallery, if it's going to an online gallery, if it's talking to friends about what they're shooting and how they're shooting. It doesn't always have to be something physical with a camera. It can be just talking to other people who have got the same love and the same passion that you have, but who are up here today. And actually, just by talking to them, just by having that collective community feel and chat, it can take you from being here with nothing to contribute to actually you're talking with other people, you're contributing to a creative conversation, you're talking about something that you really, really love. You don't actually it doesn't actually every time has to manifest itself in a physical thing. I know it's probably a sweeping statement, but as women, I don't care. As women, we like to connect. And the way that we connect is by talking and by having that community. And that's why SheClicks is massive as well. It's because there is that support, there is the communication, you can't say every day everybody's coming on to SheClicks feeling motivated. Flip side, then everybody's not coming on to SheClicks and feeling unmotivated. It's everybody gets different things in different ways. I love when I'm feeling a little bit like demotivated, the thing that picks me up within 5 minutes is talking to my friends. And I know that I can't physically talk to them, I can't be in the same physical space, but I can be re-energized and motivated by having a 10-minute video call or whatever. And the first 7 minutes of that is probably me flapping, trying to get the camera working and to turn myself off mute. But whatever it is, that will bring me up. That just as alone, I would come off that call and I'll be like, yeah, okay, do you know what? It hasn't changed the problem. I still have perhaps this problem to solve. But I now feel capable. I now feel energized to actually just go, sure, okay, yeah, fine, good, let's do it. It can change you from A to B. Yeah. So again, the pressure, it doesn't have to be taking a physical photo. It can be connecting with people who are in the same creative field as you are, and with the ability to buoy you up.
Yeah, and as you were talking there, it just occurred to me that there is a distinct difference between motivation and ideas, because you can have lots and lots of ideas. It's just you lack the motivation to take them forward. And I see people. I think it's there are some really clever ideas about how to sort of kickstart yourself into doing something, like writing lots of projects and ideas down. But maybe if you have a list, what you try and do is commit to doing one of them a week or one of them a day, and it's you've got some great ideas, you just don't really want to do them. But if you sort of say, okay, Wednesday afternoon, I've got an hour, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make myself have fun. It sounds like trying to, when you're at a party and someone says, let's play, and you just think, oh God, no. But when you actually start doing it, you have fun, despite yourself.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. But it is also, okay, so don't suddenly make a list of 30 projects that you're going to accomplish in 10 days, and they're all going to need specialist equipment, or you're going to need to fly somewhere, or that they are going to put you in a position of failure. It could be, I'm going to take 3 shots this week that are going to express an emotion. Find what that emotion is, and those 3 shots you'll be thinking about it all the time. Oh, okay. That's creativity. Sometimes just needs that oxygen and needs that time to play around in your head. And if you have those creative projects visible. You know, I always think best place for me is in front of the fridge. My fridge front door is covered in various, you know, little whiteboards with things all circled in, because I know that I'm there a lot.
Put something inside the fridge.
But it's just a constant reminder of like, oh yeah, actually I should think about that, you know, or I actually today I'm going to do that. I've got 30 minutes that I can dedicate to that, and it's going to take me from a place of not having achieved anything to actually, do you know what, I'm going to have achieved something.
Yeah.
It may not be when you set those lists of tasks that you had a predisposed idea in your head of the standard that it was going to be. Now, when you get round to that task, you need to also just press pause on that expectation, because the fact that you have been motivated enough to actually do the physical act, just do it, do the act, breaks that constant cycle of I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I don't feel like it, I'm not capable of doing it today. Just do it, because you've done it. The fact that you wanted it to be at a certain level, park that, because that is just not helpful for you. It's just not going to serve you. So do it and worry about the levels of it later.
Now, we touched earlier a little bit on, you know, identifying the things that you like. And you mentioned about it might not actually be holding your camera. So, you know, for example, when you examine what you're thinking, you know, what you enjoy about photography, don't feel bad if it's not always taking the picture. You know, if you love sitting down in front of the computer, I know some people say they don't, and other people absolutely love it, and I love it, I have to say. You know, editing images or putting images together to make a slideshow, or making a print or sending a print off to, you know, your favorite lab, getting it back and opening it, or maybe uploading something to Instagram, posting on Instagram or in SheClicks Facebook group, or you know, entering a competition. Make that's your carrot, that's your, you know, your goal, that will make you feel happy because you've achieved something. You know, doesn't, like you said before, it doesn't always have to be actually physically holding your camera. I've often said that you know, sort of 95% of photography is faffing about, and the rest of it, you know, you actually go, that's it, you know, what was it, a 60th of a second, a 25th of a second, or something like that. That's the photography. It's faffing about and realizing the thing you're photographing is covered in dust and fingerprints, and you know, that can get really frustrating, but it's part of photography.
I love it.
Sorry,
we should have that, you know, under SheClicks and brackets, faffing. 95%
faffing about. Yes.
One thing that you mentioned before about kind of, yes, it's not that it doesn't necessarily have to be the photo, but we've talked about it before. It's like the use of kind of Instagram stories, which I think is brilliant, because Instagram stories doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. After 24 hours, it's gone. But you will have proved to yourself that you've done something. So even if you don't want to share it on SheClicks, or you don't want to share it as, you know, as part of your portfolio, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But it's what you tell yourself. It's your personal narrative. It's, you know, these are what we're talking about are our suggestions of techniques that have helped us over the years to move from when we've not had the mojo to be full of it. And I think Instagram stories is a brilliant vehicle for just being able to post some stuff and then it's gone. The pressure is gone, you know, and that's taken you from not posting anything or not shooting anything to actually doing something that can just be, you know, can just be there and then gone. The pressure's off.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I think Instagram stories are great fun, and they kind of get you into the habit of doing a little bit of photography and sort of sharing a few things without sort of saying, hey, this is really serious or anything. But if you have a really nice day, you can go to your archive and you can look back as well, which is, you know, it's a really nice thing.
It proves that point that you've had it, you know, that you've done it.
So it feels like a good point to kind of, you know, we've kind of gone around the house a little bit, but I feel like we need to kind of summarize the key points to kind of trying to get your motivation going.
I'm saying that I'm faffing.
So I think for me, it's kind of get everything ready, get everything set in place so that if you have the opportunity, you can take it. I know you, Katie, you're a fan of kind of writing things down and planning opportunities, or writing down your achievements when you have done some photography.
Yeah, I think if we were to suddenly document everything that we've all done in a day, in a document, we'd amaze ourselves with how much we've achieved. But actually the narrative throughout the day is, oh, I've not done much today, you know, and I haven't taken a great photo, blah, 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 blah. You need to be able to have some sort of validation that you can, you know, that you have got yourself up and going and running, and you can do it all. You can absolutely move yourself from being in a funk to being fabulous, but you just have to keep at it. It's about the action. Don't be afraid to take the action.
Katie, as ever, it's been fantastic talking with you. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope people who are feeling without their motivation may have a few tools to help them get it back, and people who are feeling nicely motivated will have a few tools to help them stay motivated.
And to help others when they need it to.
Very good point. Okay, thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Take care.